Should we impeach Donald Trump? For what? No. I don't care. The Democrats seem to care a whole lot, and to me that just signals there's no substance behind what most Democrats are proposing. Look, man, there was no Russian collusion, okay? The purpose of that investigation was that there was supposed to be evidence Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. He didn't. We're done. Move on. Remember MoveOn.org? Apparently they got started because no one would move on from Bill Clinton. Move on. Talk about policy. Now listen, I for one believe that we need to have a rule of law. And if the president did something wrong, he should be held accountable for it. The problem with this is that it's ridiculously tribal on partisan lines and based on a lie. Trump did not collude with the Russians. We're done. Move on. But for some reason, and I did address this in my main channel video, the Democrats don't want to. Here's a story from the Hill. Look at this. 2,324 shares. Wow. House Democrats inch toward majority support for impeachment. Why? No, seriously, I know why. 37% of voters say Congress should begin impeachment proceedings. Democrats are moving towards the minority position. Why? Seriously, I don't get it. So I want to talk about this. We'll read through the story, and it looks like there's a lot of people saying impeachment may be coming, but it'll never make it through the Senate. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion, because the Democrats don't know what they're doing anymore. They tried Russia. It failed. They tried obstruction. It failed. Maybe they'll impeach on obstruction. Whatever. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address. But of course, share this video if you like it, because YouTube has deranked independent political commentary, so I rely on word of mouth. If you like it, share it. If you don't, whatever. Let's read. They say just days into the long summer recess, a number of House Democrats have endorsed the drive to impeach President Trump, inching the number of supporters closer to a majority of the House Democratic caucus in what could pose new challengers for Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her bid to defuse the effort. Supporters of the impeachment strategy have predicted support would only grow as lawmakers traveled home for the 6-week break to gauge the temperature of voters, and they haven't been disappointed. On Monday, Emmanuel Cleaver and Dina Titus endorsed the push, joining at least a dozen other Democrats who have signed on since last Wednesday when former special counsel Robert Mueller testified before Congress on his investigation into Russia's election interference and whether Trump obstructed the probe. Okay, here's the important takeaway. A poll shows that following Mueller's testimony, nothing changed. So why are the Democrats changing? Why are the Democrats moving towards supporting this when the polls show that voters don't care? Because the Democrats don't care about what voters think. That's the only conclusion I can come to. But I did state some of this, so let's read on. They say, other lawmakers, we have more. The list includes a pair of freshmen, Mike Levin and Kim Schreier, who flipped Republican-held seats in last year's midterms, Derek Kilmer, who heads the centrist group of New Democrats, and a member of the leadership, Catherine Clark, the vice chairwoman of the caucus. Other lawmakers signing on in recent days are I'm not going to read all the names of everybody. They say the additions have pushed the number of Democrats seeking impeachment to 106, according to a tally being kept by the Hill Rep Justin Amash. By the Hill. Rep Justin Amash, who left the Republican Party earlier this month, is also backing the effort. Now we can see there's an I next to his name, but I doubt he will be reelected. That means pro-impeachment Democrats are just a dozen votes shy of 118, a majority of the majority, or more than half of the 235 Democrats in the lower chamber. It is likely impeachment backers will reach that symbolic mark in the coming days or weeks. Heck, for instance, that's a name, said there are at least 20 to 30 on the fence Democrats seriously considering their endorsement heading into the long break. Before leaving for the 6-week summer recess, Pelosi told reporters that she had no complaint about Democrats who are pushing for an impeachment inquiry and criticizing her for resisting one. Nancy Pelosi is right. Pains me to say it. I'm not a fan of the corporate elitist Democrats, but Nancy Pelosi is correct. It is a fool's errand to move towards impeachment. It does nothing for the American people. It signals you don't care about what the American people actually want, and you're pandering to the minority. So let me just make a point here. If you're trying to win over, I don't know, let's say there's a pizza, and you are like, I want to win this pizza, and I have to convince a group of people to vote for me to get the pizza. Don't pander to the small group of people. Like, how is this hard for them to understand? If you want to win votes, you pander to the majority. I don't like the idea of pandering to the majority or the minority. But the point is, if you're going to pander at all, at least do something that makes sense. Heck, I'd actually ask the Democrats to move on principle. And if you moved on principle, you would move on from this and approach real policy issues. Instead, what are they doing? They're trying to pander. Only they're pandering backwards. It's the most insane thing you could imagine, because not only is pandering pathetic, they're pandering to the losing side. Like, what? Nancy Pelosi is right. It's divisive. It's bad for the Democrats. Let's read on. They say, but Pelosi, before leaving for the 6-week summer recess, Pelosi told reporters that she had no complaint about Democrats pushing for an impeachment inquiry and criticizing her for resisting one. In a shift of tone, she told rank and file members in a closed-door meeting that it's up to them to decide how best to represent their districts and constituents. But Pelosi, who's wary of protecting moderate Democrats heading into 2020, reiterated that she was in no rush to launch an impeachment investigation. We will proceed when we have what we need to proceed. And 118 pro-impeachment votes aren't likely to move the entrenched speaker off her position. Even some supporters of an impeachment inquiry cautioned against reading too much into the 118 vote milestone. 218, the number of votes needed to formally launch the inquiry, is the only number that matters, they said. There's not much difference between 100 and 118. I don't think half the caucus represents a magic number, said Rep. Cedric Richmond from Louisiana, a House Judiciary Committee member who backs an impeachment inquiry, told The Hill on Monday. Asked what number is significant, Richmond, co-chair of the Joe Biden campaign, replied 218. That's the majority of the House. That's the number it takes to pass the bill and get articles of impeachment out of the House and to the Senate. We still have steps to go. And after it leaves the House and makes it to the Senate, Mitch McConnell will just rubber stamp canceled or denied and throw it in the trash. It's a waste of time. And you know what it says to me? The Democrats are really campaigning on Orange Man Bed. No, but seriously. I know there's a lot of nonsense about how the Democrats won't stop saying Orange Man Bad and how the media only says Orange Man Bad. But I really do believe there are Democrats who don't care about the Orange Man, but that's their campaign strategy. Let me think about this. People don't like Trump. Okay, I will campaign on Orange Man Bad and hope that they will not like the man enough and will agree with me in not liking him, and they'll vote for me because of that. To me, that's insane. And whether or not it works, because it might, you do convince people to vote for you just based on emotion. But to me, it signals the Democrats moving in a very dangerous direction. And look, Trump's not off the hook for this. Trump has played to these emotions and to similar things in the past. The difference is what Trump does works. Trump knows his base. He knows what to say and why to say it. And he plays the media for fools. They really don't like him. It is bad for him in many ways, but Trump knows how to adapt. The Democrats don't know what they're doing. They're signaling to their base like, I'm gonna impeach Trump, because they're listening to the fringe activists who are screeching. I assure you, if you go to some random house in the suburbs of, some urban district, Chicago, for instance, you will find newly Democratic voters. And if you ask them, what can I do to secure your vote? Many of them will likely not say impeach Trump. The polls show only 37% of voters would say that. So, hey, look, 1 in 3 will. But most people are going to be like, can you make the economy better? Like, my industry is failing. The economy's great. Therein lies the problem. What do Democrats really have to run on? No, but for real, Trump is not far right. According to the New York Times, the Republican Party actually shifted a little bit to the left in 2016 with Trump. Trump opened the LGBT flag, the rainbow flag, on stage at an event. That's more than any Republican's ever done. So Trump is in a position where he's very much like Obama in terms of immigration, foreign policy, things that I can disagree with, but recognize, yeah, he's got the moderates. That's why he won in the first place. So when Trump is acting in a moderate fashion, what does the left have to offer? Either they can offer far left ideology because they have to contrast themselves for where Trump is, or Orange Man Bad. And it seems like that's what we get. So let's read the conclusion here. They say, Nadler has reportedly been at odds with Pelosi over whether to launch an impeachment inquiry in his committee. His latest strategy keeps impeachment near at hand without launching the formal process or forcing uncomfortable votes on vulnerable colleagues before there's more public support for ousting the president. My personal view is that he richly deserves impeachment. He has done many impeachable offenses. He's violated the law 6 ways from Sundays. That doesn't mean anything. Okay? Nadler, if you gave a quote and said Trump did X, now he should be impeached, I'd be like, oh, that's a good point. Instead, 6 ways from Sunday. You said nothing. Oh man, but that's not the question. He added, the question is, can we develop enough evidence to put before the American people? Thank you. That is a good question. And the answer is probably no. Stop. You know, look, if you don't think the Russiagate stuff was a witch hunt, fine, I don't care, but it's done. It's over. Please move on. I'd like to hear a debate over ideas. Big ideas. That's why I like listening to Sam Harris podcast every so often. Man, Sam Harris and Ricky Gervais, that was great. There were jokes, there was ideas, and that's what I want to hear. I want to see a Republican sit down with a Democrat and have an argument, like a real conversation, a real debate over, say, a minimum wage increase. Instead, what do? Orange man bad. Indeed, Orange man is bad. Vote for me because I think Orange man is bad. Tim Pool approves this message. I'll see you in the next segment coming up in a few minutes. Stick around.